Okay guys, so today I'm making a chocolate and patchouli soap. I'm using the Chocolate Espresso, it's a Sibylla fragrance from Brambleberry, and patchouli essential oil. And the Chocolate Espresso smells more like a Tootsie Roll to me, and it's the only chocolatey fragrance oil I had, so I'm going to use that. And I got the idea for this soap from my husband. I had a patchouli, I think it was a geranium and patchouli-scented soap in the shower, and it smells mostly of patchouli. And he also, he'd take a shower and then he would use this cocoa butter lotion. So one day I realized that he smelled like patchouli and chocolate, and I thought, huh. So that's why I decided to put those two together. So in here I've already got some of my oils. I've got the canola oil, which I'm using at 37.5%, coconut oil at 25%, avocado oil at 18.75%, and castor oil at 6.25%. And I'm going to add some cocoa butter to it. And I grated my cocoa butter. You know how you just get those big chunks of cocoa butter and they're really hard to manage sometimes. I'll show you what I mean. Here's a chunk of cocoa butter, and it can be really hard to cut off what you need from this. So I just used a cheese grater to grate it down, and this way it melts faster too when I add it to the warm oils. And I did warm my oils in the microwave for about a minute, and so they're at 145 degrees, so that should be hot enough to melt the cocoa butter. I think this helps it prevent it from becoming too grainy if you melt the cocoa butter in the warm oils. So I'm just going to stir that and let it set for a while I'm getting the lye water ready. Okay, so my lye water is cooling down, and I did have my gloves on for that. As you can see, all of the cocoa butter has melted. And I've got some cocoa powder here. I used it at 1 teaspoon per pound. I hope that's not too much because I don't want my lather to be brown. But the Chocolate Espresso fragrance oil is probably going to discolor the soap brown anyway because it has vanilla. I wanted to make sure I got a nice deep brown color, and I thought that the cocoa powder would go with the chocolate theme nicely. Also, the cocoa butter went with the theme well too. Even though it's deodorized cocoa butter I'm using, it's still a nice touch, I think. So I'm just going to pull some of my oils here to mix about 2 tablespoons and mix that just to get any clumps out. This recipe is based on a Soap Queen post from a while back. It was written by Amanda from Love and Soap, and the post was called Sea Clay Avocado Facial Bar. And I'm not using the sea clay, and I did swap the olive oil for canola oil. So I went to go buy some olive oil and just couldn't believe how much it cost. So I thought, geez, I'll try canola oil, see if that's a good substitute. And of course I ran it through a lye calculator after I made the swap. I'm going to go ahead and add my scent combo to the oils. I used, for 2 pounds of oils, I used ½ ounce of patchouli and 1.5 ounces of the Chocolate Espresso. I hope that'll be a nice balance. Patchouli is so strong I didn't want to use too much, but I hope that it still comes through the chocolate. And I don't really smell too much of the coffee in this one, so it's nice and chocolatey to me. Like I said, it smells like a Tootsie Roll, so it works perfectly, I think, with this. Okay, gloves and goggles on for the rest of this project. Just going to add my lye water in. And now I'm just going to stick blend it to trace. Since I'm coloring the whole batch, I think I'm going to go ahead and add my cocoa powder too. That's a nice color. So what I'm going to try to do here are some mica veins. I use some gold sparkle mica, and I'm going to use a tea strainer to tap a layer onto the soap so that when it's cut it's got a line of gold running through it. And I wanted to make slanted lines, so I've got a couple of playing cards here that I've rubber banded together, and I'm going to use that to prop up my mold. Okay, so I'm going to pour some into the mold here. Maybe better if I poured first and then propped. Pour a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to prop it. Now I'm going to take my mica, spoon a little bit into my tea strainer, now I'm just going to gently tap, you can see this okay, gently tap a thin layer just to cover the soap. Don't want to go too thick. If you go too thick, the layers can separate on you. So just a nice gentle dusting. Now I'm going to gently spoon some more soap on. I don't want to disturb that mica line I just made, so being very careful here. The soap is quite thick. It's just sort of sliding off the spoon here. Lay it flat now, and I hope there'll be enough of an angle there. Show a slanted line. See if I can smooth this out. Get a nice flat area for my mica line. And again, just a real light layer, just enough to cover. Don't want it too thick. I was going to prop it, but I think I may just leave it. Maybe look neat with one slanted line and one straight line. Plus, I don't think this soap is going to move a whole lot. It's pretty thick. Okay, I'm going to spoon the rest on. Being careful not to disturb the mica line. Try and create a little bit of texture here. I think I'll sprinkle just a little bit more gold on top, just here and there. Alright, I'm going to put the top on, let this gel, hopefully, won't mess up my tops. That'll be alright. Alright, I'm going to let it gel, and I'll see you back here in a few days when it's time to cut. Okay, so here it is. I was super lazy about cutting this one. This has been in the mold for more than a week, but only because I didn't get around to making this video till then, but I'm sure I could have unmolded it a lot sooner. I did get some liquid on top. I don't know if you can see it glistening, but it went into gel phase really fast and it got really hot, so I wonder if that had something to do with it. And it's not zappy at all, so it's not lye. It's either condensation or maybe fragrance oil, but it reabsorbed most of it, and so nothing to worry about there. Actually still feels kind of wet on the sides. It's not zappy at all though, so see if I can just kind of blot some of the moisture away. It's still a little damp on the sides and the bottom, a little bit on top. See if we can cut it. I'm going to cut it on its side so that I don't create drag lines through my mica vein. Let's see, cut off the end here. Hopefully it won't be too soft to cut. So you can see if I had cut straight up and down, it might have dragged the mica lines with it. So if I cut it on the side, I get less drag. So that's the reason why I'm doing that. And you can see that the inside is a little bit lighter brown. Once I cut the bars though and let them sit out, it'll probably get just as dark on the inside as on the outside once the oxygen gets to it. I'm just going to use a bar of soap to help me determine where to cut. I'm not very good at freehand cutting. Slide the soap away instead of pulling. Those are some nice mica lines. Pretty well defined. clean off my knife each time. Get a nice clean cut. So I think they're all pretty much gonna look like this. I think I cut that one a little too big. That'd be a nice big bar. It smells mostly of chocolate to me. Don't pick up a lot of patchouli, maybe a hint of it. I was afraid to use too much patchouli because it's so strong, but I think if I did this again, I may go with a 1-to-1 ratio, because I did, for 2 pounds of oils, I used 1.5 ounces of the chocolate espresso and 1/2 ounce of the patchouli. But I wonder now if I should have gone 1 ounce of patchouli and 1 ounce of chocolate espresso. Because this is a really strong chocolate espresso scent. I think it'd be tough to overpower. But it smells really good. It smells like fudge or a Tootsie Roll to me. And I hope that there's a little bit of patchouli in the background. And when I eat this, I'm really happy with those mica lines. I think they'll look even more dramatic once the rest of the soap darkens on the inside. And the end piece. So I'm just going to let these hang out for a few days, let them dry out a bit, and let the inside of the bars darken. And then I'll take some photos and show you pictures of the final bars. Bye guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.